are still trading below book value. Some of them are really shined in the last couple of years. So we, I mean, I in the capital market, I know I have understood that what it means when we say what this whosoever has survived the storm has learned the art of making money in the stock market, and it is said that if you can really bear one or two of the onslaughts and high and lows, then you are in for a. So, like in July 2023, the index was 39,000. Karachi stock and PSC 100 was 39,000. Today it is 1,89,000. And and the good part is one of the ratios that we the financial market we use is price earning ratio. So we take price and the upper column, the denominator is the earning, and whatever comes is called the multiple. So just imagine that a company which was priced at 100 rupees and was earning 10 rupees, so the multiple will be 100 divided by 10, it should be 10. So it was a multiple of 10. So I have traded and I have worked for a bank, which is now Sama Bank. It used to be Crescent Bank. And the index then was 765. Let's say 800. Or for argument's sake, for your understanding, it was 1,000. So from index of 1,000, today I just told you that the market is at 1,89,000. So just try to get what has happened to the Pakistan economy in the years without with all the odds that the entrepreneur of Pakistan has endured, high inflation, high interest rates, high electricity costs, etc., etc. But that multiple is still not achieved, which we achieved in 2017. So the earnings has gone up to that level that a share which was first at 100 and earning was 10. Now the share price is 1,500, but the earning is also 150. But even beyond that, so only then we will get that denominator and I mean, we divide, it will come to the same number. Otherwise, it won't come. Am I clear up to here? So this is simple mathematics that in Pakistan earnings have gone so much that the price earnings multiple continues to be same. Rather, it is lower than what we achieved. And we also did achieve something like 99 billion dollars, which although the market has performed very well, index has risen from 39,000 to 189,000, but still that price earning multiple is 8.5. Despite and we at Karachi Stock Exchange and a lot of people who really watch for this market will watch me out that even this year we are expecting a rise of 53% in the local bounty. So to me, the risk that we have carried for long was the absence of reform. And the good news is that in Pakistan, the reforms are happening and happening at a right pace. So somebody, if can just get the second slide or third slide. So this is it. Yes. So somebody is listening. Okay. So Pakistan has set reform agenda with the gas and power and privatization and everything. So these reforms are really paving the way for a smooth sailing of the investors. And as we all know, the greatest asset of Pakistan is its people. And I'm so touched when I see people with lesser means smiling and are content when things are not really kind to them. So that's Shukr Alhamdulillah concept. Sometimes they get carried away with the content thing, but no, the ones who really feel that what this nation, what this country is really giving me. Uh, I also I would like to acknowledge the idea and the of Ikram Sehgal family, and the able team that he has to showcase these youngsters to Davos. And I think this they will continue to remember the rest of their life. So what forum you have provided them in the very young age. So in Pakistan, as we all know, we do not suffer the lack of ideas, but we lack the scale of capital that is required to really youngsters and others to grow and grow. Um, you will also know that in Pakistan, the fintech adoption, digital banking and payment, freelance exports and IT services are on the high. And e-commerce penetration, although very at a very nascent stage, but Pakistan is just like there was my friend who said, "I will not learn how to drive, how to ride a bicycle, not to ride a motorbike. Whenever God will give me, I'll have a car." And God, his command was good. God gave him the car to working every. Like in Pakistan, people have gone from landlines to straight away mobile phones, and the very people who really are domestic support to you, they all know how to really use it. And the ones who don't use how to use this smartphones, AMA has done wonders to their lives as well. So I am thrilled to see the youngsters sitting here who are doing some AI-enabled services, education. They have used education in the education and technology, health technology, and here we should not miss something which is called agri technology. There's a company with the name AgriTech. So every time somebody asks me, Farid, are you interested in AgriTech? I go, no, the share price has gone very up. This, not that AgriTech, it's the agri technology that I'm referring to. So and I did the same with Abu Bakr as well. So I think this substance, there was a time when in Pakistan there was very small holdings. Right now, what we are looking for is the land, a bigger land, and with idea to export, and not the substance, but to value addition. So agri businesses has a lot of potential for the investment in Pakistan because it requires the food processing, the controlled atmospheric stores, the cold chain in logistics, smart irrigation, halal food export, and one of the latest things that I learned last year was halal tourism. I never thought there is some tourism, which is halal tourism as well, but there is a market for it. And I had an international conference. I attended to that, and I was surprised that there are a number of hotels in the world which says halal hotel. So that was something really interesting to me. Uh, when I discuss investment, it is obviously private and public both. Ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan is passing through a transition of energy. We all know in Pakistan there were three things that had haunted the investors and the investment climate. One was the high interest rate, one high energy cost, and the third was and continues to be the super tax, the taxation system in Pakistan. Two of the issues have been settled. Third, super tax and taxation. I keep on reminding Aurangzeb Saab, and I'm glad that he normally agrees to things, but obviously he puts it in the budget that I'll be doing that in the budget. But I said if they provide us with the framework on the how to and when to reduce the super tax, a lot of companies which are now sitting on the sides will come to be listed because once you are listed, you have to behave, you have to be disciplined, and then a lot of companies, Gramsa, which are not listed, they say, if we list and we start behaving, my competitor is not behaving, so I'll be out of the market. So in Pakistan, the good news is that due to the tax reforms, there is no escape now. People used to say we have earned the luxury that we're enjoying, it is the agricultural income. Now agricultural income is also taxed. They say we have earned this from this. No, that is also taxed. So the chain is such that if you are spending and God forbid a bad money, ill-gotten money, you will be one. I mean, sooner than later will be caught in something that is. So one good news about the cost of energy is that we all know that in Pakistan the per unit cost is high. But the good news is not that you must have listened to it, but I was really surprised. So in Pakistan, K Electric had an international tender to produce 240 megawatt of electricity. And to my utmost surprise, when I learned that this contract was won by a Canadian firm called JCM. There are five investment bankers. So 3.1 cent per kilowatt hour, which is 9 rupees per kilowatt hour, is something that They won the international tender, and it is, by the way, lowest amongst the lowest in the world. So we have skeletons in the cupboard that okay, but the new entrepreneur and the people who really matter are now in a way in a position to compete with the best of the world. So given that we have at Dhabeji, for the Dhabeji, so Dhabeji has wind and solar both, and the combo hybrid has has really given us pride that we now have this 240 megawatt will, by the way, go to the K Electric for their tender. But 3.1 is something that the crypto miners and everything, they said this is the ideal energy because it requires energy beyond. So I wanted to touch on a few things. Where are we? Please go ahead, please. So this is how we have achieved a few things that I've discussed. How have we been able to achieve the stability in the exchange rate? This you can have a copy of it and you can say, and you can see that the open market and the curve rate is under a very tight belt. Next, please. These forex reserves have increased to $16 billion from a low of $3 billion, and also you have to be reminded that Pakistan's for now that is under control. $80 billion is what we owe to the world, and this is, by the way, after paying $24 billion this year. So Pakistan's balance of payment position is quite better right now. And next, please. This is what it takes for anybody to really. Also, given the positioning, the geographical location of Pakistan, because Pakistan is a bridge between Central Asia, China, Middle East, and South Asia, hence investment plus technology is required in logistics. I explained earlier in the case of agriculture locally, and even in this poor region, the logistics, supply chain, efficient port operations, and trade facilitations. So a lot of know-how and money is required for us if we are to play that role that the world wants us to play. So people say geography is destiny, and Pakistan is situated at a crossroads of the world. The world cannot ignore, and I really somebody said it, and I totally agree to what they say. So Pakistan is a good. There's one more good news that I'm going to give you. In May 2025, Pakistan entered into a league of nations which has a GDP of 400 billion plus. And a lot of people, and by the way, Pakistan's taxation, the FDR collects, it used to collect 7 trillion, now it's collecting 13 and a half. It doubled in 3 years. A lot of people say every time we set us with a target for the FDR, it is not met. And I keep saying them, reminding them that look, it has doubled in less than 3 years. So in Pakistan, and we have been taught by our parents and elders that low aim, no failure is crime. So Pakistan, FBR, and the authorities and everybody, they set a target which is very high. And if that target is missed by 5-10%, no worries. I mean, 13 trillion plus is a great number. We also know, and Samir would watch me out for this, that the smart capital doesn't come at the peak of the comfort. It really comes, it arrives at the bottom of conviction. And a lot of us are convinced today that Pakistan offers what smart capital seeks. It has young, dynamic population, it has scales, it has reform momentum, and valuation that reward uh, courageous investors. So in every field, Pakistan is now uh, excelling. And beyond the 10th of May, we, as a Pakistani, wherever we go in any part of the world, we are given a bit better recognition than we used to be. So, due to positive time, I'll be just concluding. So, my message to the professional investors normally is that when you invest in Pakistan, you remember that you are partnering with a nation that has given, that has refused to give up. We can be bent, we cannot be broken. So this is something that we all have in our lives, that we as Pakistani as a nation, we cannot be broken. Allama Iqbal once said, बातिल से दबने वाले आसमान नहीं हम, बातिल इज झूठ. So बातिल से दबने वाले आसमान नहीं हम, 100 बार ले चुका है तो इम्तहान हमारा.
Wow, wow, wow.
So to me, Pakistan is an untouched diamond, and it's raw, it is resilient, and ready to shine. Thank you very much.
Fine, because we have to have lunch at 1:30 definitely.
I would do a difficult thing or asking somebody first or somebody after. So Michael Kugelman is normally so articulate in whatever he really talks, he really speaks. So I'll request Michael to kindly say something, and given the topic that what Pakistan is now, what Pakistan economy is now, how are you viewing it, and how did you view it about a year or 2 or 3 back? And you may conclude by saying what do we expect from the
dynamics dramatically, and lower our risk premium, and improve our returns and duration. The real issue, frankly, has not been policy. It's been U-turns on policy, not implementing policy. I mean, listen, someone as smart as Michael can give you proper study on this, but I'm just focusing on that. Just whatever you decide, just go do it. When we were fortunate enough to spend a session with the Chinese Politburo, we do that every few years. And they said one thing. They said, if I had one advice to give to the Prime Minister of Pakistan, and this poor guy says this every year, because we have a different Prime Minister every year. There's one piece of advice I would give to the Prime Minister of Pakistan, would say, just don't change your mind. Even if you think the decision was wrong, just go with it. Because if you change your mind once, people are going to come at you for everything you do. So you just go and do it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? So that's a fundamental view. We do think, nevertheless, there are still opportunities in Pakistan. Certainly in the private markets, because most of the economy is in private markets, it's not in the public markets. And we don't think Pakistan assets are priced properly with great pricing arbitrage. We also think Pakistani companies throw off cash, throw off earnings, while the earnings don't often get rewarded in the market for other reasons, which I don't want to get into now. But if you like cash, it's a good place to own assets in Pakistan. There are opportunities. I mean, frankly, the last thing I'll say is what we do is not complicated. It's not rocket science. It's your classic middle market private equity play. Buy underperforming companies, buy companies that need management, sharper strategy, more efficient capital structure, and go to some neat things with technology, distribution, etc. It's not complicated. So people say, well, then what is it? That part isn't complicated. The complicated part is just executing it. So one of the mantras we have is do less. It's a weird thing to hear from McKinsey guy, but McKinsey always go on giant strategies. Our view at Asia Pac is do less. Because everything is really hard. Everything is really hard, takes a long time. The entrepreneurs in this room are shaking, are nodding their heads, but they know, right? The difference from doing 2 things to 3 things is not linear, it's exponential. It's exponentially harder. So the way we've gone through it to do less and to make that happen. But looking forward, we're still optimistic. We're always optimistic. That's one of the curses of being an entrepreneur. And you're hit with the optimism stick. So we're even more optimistic now, certainly in policy, certainly in macroeconomics. I'm not a geopolitical analyst. I won't pretend to be one, but I do feel a change in temperature. I do feel a change in temperature when I speak to larger private equity investors in US, Canada, like the retirement funds in Canada, the European Union funds. It just feels different. Conversations feel different. They don't start from place of skepticism. So, maybe we should do something.
Okay, so a follow-up question on that is that when you invest in Pakistan or elsewhere, do you invest in the company which has facade and assets, or the technology part as well, or you mix your capital into the fixed asset part and the tangible asset part or the technology part.
Great question. Once again, what we've done is effectively not, I should have thought about that. We've really thought about underperforming assets that we do a lot with. And there's a lot to do. Pakistan, unfortunately, doesn't develop, own, and scale technology enough times. So while we may have developed it, we don't scale it. Often we just forward import technology and distribute it. It's effectively, I mean, I was in a what's that thing they do in Saudi Arabia, FII or something? And one of the leading people was talking about, we don't develop technology, we distribute it. Like, oh my God, you should come to Pakistan, right? So we think there's a lot more to do in actually owning and developing technology. So that's where fundamental capital formation happens. We couldn't develop it yourself.
Abhinav, coming to you, Pakistan seems to be getting things very fast. It's a habit in our body. Like I said, from landlines to straight-away smartphones, and from bank branches to digital payment system. In your space that we talk, we have digital banks now. We have EMI, wallet, etc., and a couple of more things that the developed world is not. I mean, we are getting close to that when it comes to adoption of technology, digital banking, payment solutions, etc., etc. So, do you think Pakistani youth has got something to do with this, with this technology adoption in the finance, or it is the need of the hour to really think big and go away with this branch banking and this uh, other things that we have had been using for years? How this change will affect us going forward?
First, thank you for this, and thank you, Granta, for the opportunity. This is my second time here. Last time I was here, I think third in person, the 22 years of service that you've given to the nation. I think it is truly commendable that you've done it for yourself. So, really, we have two examples of it. I'll take it a little bit broader to that, like just not to stick on the fintech only. Just generally, the tech market in Pakistan is booming. And I think we need to believe, just to give you a little bit of background, I spent the last 35 years. Reason is we are finally getting some things right. Some things right. I think the biggest hurdle for us, for as a nation, as a Pakistan, was our perception of geopolitical risk, our focus on bringing the youth into the main markets. I mean, these are the like fundamental issues. What has happened in the last year or 2 years, if you want to think about it, and I've seen the pre and post May 10th also, there is a fundamental shift in the tone, in the language, in the reception, in the incoming queries that are coming out for us. I think the best thing these days, and I say the campaign that has to be done and is doing right now, and I say Pakistan now. It's a call to action. We have not realized what has happened in the last 6 months. And truly, I've been on the other side, was working in the private, but now in the public sector for a while. But the tones have completely changed. The seat at the table is there for you. It is short shelf life. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it again. And I think that is the lesson we have to learn. And I'm very, 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 very optimistic after working for almost a year with the youth. I think our biggest asset and our biggest opportunity is our youth. So incredibly talented, connected, savvy, entrepreneurial, and the word you use, I said somebody asked me, so what was your experience look like and how the nation was? I just defined that the whole nation in one word. And I mean it to say our nation is resilient. You throw whatever you want to throw out at them. Even if you don't give them internet, they will figure it out how to explore. Trust me, they are the most resilient people in the world. They will figure it out how to make things work for you. And I think that comes with your own creativity. When you have less opportunities, when you have less options, you tend to be more creative about it. And that's what happens. I grew up in Karachi for the first 20 years, and then I went to the States, and then I spent there. The reason was I did not go to very good schools. I did not have anything. I came from a very humble background. The reason why I think, alhamdulillah, I think I was able to make it well in the US was because my grooming and my thing was I have to figure out a solution for everything. I don't understand why people have to just stop and say, this is a problem. So what are you going to do about it? What are the option B? What is the plan B? What is the plan C? I think that resilience that is what we have in our people, in our nation, in our youth, is what's bringing and propelling us to the next nation. Now, going to the other point, I just want to mix a few things here too. Is like Sami said it absolutely right. We are doing well, but we're not doing great. And I think we just have to be very, very conscious to say, yes, we are doing well, but we're not doing great. Our potential is so much bigger than what we do. We focus on services, we deliver services, we deliver talent, we do this. The things that will take you to the next level or next two levels is when you start to bring create your own products and the technologies, and that will actually take you. Our biggest IT companies are still not $1 billion. And I think that's reason is because they're services companies. And services businesses are only going to get more and more tough. So as a nation, as a product, and I think what we've been preaching to the decision makers always, and then there's very, very receptive to it. Like, how do we create entrepreneurs who are creating world-class products at the global level and think global? And you're doing an amazing work there, and there are a few others that are doing this. But I think this just needs to be 10 times more today. And if you as an entrepreneur, you are here as startups also, I'll tell you, you are the most luckiest entrepreneurs you have for Pakistan. This is the best time for you. It is the best time for you to go and pitch globally. Because I in the US have done this work from the other side. Now, I go and I say I'm from Pakistan. 10 years ago, 2 years ago, I could not even say I'm from Pakistan. My shop is in India. My shop is my front office is in the US. And they were afraid to say that Pakistan has a back office. Now you can boldly go in and say, my back office is in Pakistan. The same Pakistan who now has credibility on the cyberspace, on our technology space, what we show to the world that we're better than anybody else. And we've shown it and we've proven it. So now is the time for you to be confident. Now is the time to think big. Now it's time to go up all in for it. And our numbers obviously are showing up that we just, exports are growing, the ecosystem is growing. What we need to do is to do this. And I think one last point, our problem is not policy. Our problem is not reports. Our policy is not skill, probably a little bit more can be done. Our problem is execution.
डेवोस के मनाजिर हैं जहाँ इन्वेस्टमेंट इन पाकिस्तान सेशन इस वक्त चल रहा है और अब से कुछ देर पहले समी चिश्ती साहब जो एग्जीक्यूटिव चेयरमैन एशिया पाक इन्वेस्टमेंट्स के उन्होंने भी बहुत ही अहम तरीन खिताब किया और मईशत के एतबार से बड़े अहम पॉइंट्स पर उन्होंने बात की। सबसे पहले उन्होंने कहा कि पाकिस्तान में इन्वेस्टमेंट फ्यूचर इस वक्त बहुत ज़्यादा ब्राइट है। इन्वेस्टमेंट के बहुत सारे मौके इस वक्त पाकिस्तान में मौजूद हैं। पाकिस्तान इस वक्त एक ग्रोइंग इकॉनमी की तरह ऊपर जा रहा है और इसके हर सूबे और हर सेक्टर में इन्वेस्टमेंट की अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ मौजूद हैं। ख़ासतौर पर टेक्नोलॉजी के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से उन्होंने बात की और कहा कि टेक्नोलॉजी की एडॉप्शन पाकिस्तान की इकॉनमी की ग्रोथ में इस वक्त बहुत अहम किरदार अदा कर रही है और अब इसका रिफ्लेक्शन भी वाज़े तौर पर नंबर्स की सूरत में सामने आना शुरू हो चुका है और ये नंबर्स इसी तरह ऊपर जाते रहेंगे। फिर प्राइवेट सेक्टर के हवाले से उन्होंने बात की कि प्राइवेट सेक्टर इस ग्रोथ में बहुत अहम किरदार अदा कर रहा है और अब हुकूमत भी बखूबी प्राइवेट सेक्टर की अहमियत को समझने लगी है और इस वर्ल्ड इकनॉमिक फोरम में जिस तरह प्राइवेट सेक्टर को नुमाइंदगी का मौका दिया गया, जिस तरह उन पर ट्रस्ट किया गया, वो इस बात की वाज़े अलामत और निशानी है कि आगे चलकर प्राइवेट सेक्टर ने पाकिस्तान की इकॉनमी में एक बहुत अहम किरदार अदा करना है। साथ ही उन्होंने कहा कि हमें अभी बहुत कुछ करना है और इसका एक बहुत ही पॉजिटिव आगाज़ हो चुका है।
Have increased over $13.5 billion. And the inquiries are far more than what we have done so far. So I think that with many other space in the same thing, we just graduated from 0 to 100 and our acceleration as a nation is very speedy. So whosoever wants to take up on this, that in the Pakistan of tomorrow will be led by the technology part or the traditional things that we have been doing. And I can request again, it's a philosophical sort of question for Michael to answer. But developing countries like Pakistan, do you feel their success lies in going to the technological part or carry on with what they are doing and just complement it with the technology?
It's an easy answer, by the way.
Please.
Question.
Mike,
Yes. Can you hear me? Yeah, there we go. No, one has to adjust to the times. And we know that what drives the global economy now is the very things you were just referring to, and obviously tech and all of its variations. And I think more broadly, one could see that countries that depend solely on one economy, one export to drive their economies, it comes back to hurt them. And I think you could look at the Bangladesh and as an example. Bangladesh for many years was able to benefit from the success of its RMG industry, which made it a wonder when it came to textile exports. But what we've seen in the last few years is Bangladesh's economy has gone in a bit of a different direction and struggled. And I think that's a reflection that countries need to not only be export-led, as the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister said today, but led by a variety of exports. So absolutely. I mean, there's nothing wrong with continuing to export textiles from Pakistan. Of course, there's plenty of competition from its neighbors and others. But absolutely need to capitalize on IT exports, AI, and all of that. But again, Pakistan's going to be competing with many other countries. The question is how does Pakistan set itself apart from the Singapores and the Indias and the Europeans and so much? That's a question for the economists to decide.
So, your last words on this statement, anything that you want to cover?
Yes, I appreciate.
Just a quick comment, because
Yeah,
1:30 is the deadline. You will
I'll try to be very quick if I can get this thing over. Technology is failing me, exactly. So I don't know if you can hear
technology
me.
part.
So half my life is as a technology investor. I run a company. I co-run a company. Spark Labs is the world's third biggest early stage tech investor. But one spin out of that we started 18 months ago is based on a fundamental thesis we had about 18 months ago that the entire world will need its own intelligence. That all the compute in the world sits in the US or in China. And our thesis, this is before Trump lost his mind, our thesis was every single country will need to own its own data, will need to own its own intelligence, to own its own compute and to develop its own apps. It needs to do it on proprietary data. So nations' intelligence effectively put to good use is the nation's economy. What that led us to do is to build sovereign AI factories. We build sovereign AI factories in middle markets. We should talk.
Okay.
So we are building 4 right now. 2 in Nordics, 1 in Europe, and 1 in South Asia. We'd love to do more. And if any of you are interested, please do talk.
Your last word from Abu Bakr.
I think we've said it all, but again, the question was, should we invest in the traditional, should we invest in the neo? I think the answer is simple. I think we should invest in anything that will bring money into production. But obviously the focus has to be in the new economy because I think you need to future-proof yourself. And I think this is where you're going to change the world is this. The biggest appetite and the biggest need and the biggest value that we offer in 5 years down the road may not be textile.
Absolutely.
Will be the talent and the intelligence that is needed. And that's what we have. And we need to do this right now today. And this is the opportunity for us.
So the margins in the textile and the margin in technologies are way apart with all the country. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I followed myself and I don't know the limitations. So let me take the opportunity. We have really about 5 minutes in the thing, but let me take the opportunity to, as one of the finest technocrats, both in Bishop government and afterwards, to comment a little bit about investment in Pakistan.
Thank you very much, Ramsar. First of all, I want to congratulate you. You consistently and proactively over the last 7 decades held the 4th year in made Pakistan present in Davos, and we want to congratulate you and commend you for your role. I now am the CEO of Gavi, the Global Vaccine Alliance. So Unfortunately, I can't be as present in Pakistani events as I would very much like to. But I wanted to be here just to pay my respects, to express my solidarity. This, of course, is our home in Davos. I'm delighted to see you all up on the stage talking about investments in Pakistan. Pakistan is an amazing destination. It's a jewel that has not been discovered well. You will find people very proactive and facilitative. There is a government that really wants to facilitate investments. And all I can say to you is that it's a destination you should prioritize. And I really want to thank you for having this speak.
Thank you, Dr. Minister. It's all spoken so well about Pakistan. And, one of the finest technical friends I dealt with during the and she was in and out of government as Dr. Sangha. I think, she set the ISP on the right lines. Today, what we're going to do with the people are going to do with the ISP because of the foundation that she did. Well, I think the panelists like to congratulate Raid Alam, Abu Bakr, Chishty, and Michael. I think you gave a broad, let me say, broad picture, spectrum of what Pakistan investment now can be. And you're very right. 3 years ago, when I used to go talk in various think tanks in the States and Europe, everybody used to throw Pakistan fatigue at me. Pakistan fatigue at me. Now, and I kept on telling them, I said, you ain't seen nothing yet. So but the point is that it is now in the last year or so, you've seen, when the finance minister is not here, but I must tell you that a lot of work that he did in adhering brings both sides to it. Because he brought, Samir, both of them were outside and inside. Both the Pakistanis were really, and that thing worked. I think, I know, Moka was telling me in 1 year's time, he made 17 foreign trips just to hunt up the thing. And of course, did a lot of work for the Pakistan Software Export Board. And Samir, of course, what can one say, Sharia is not here. But, to invest in Pakistan, put your money where your mouth is, so to say, the great year. So I think we have had a terrific session. That's it. I apologize. My son is not here. And I suppose he's been caught up in the Trump mania traffic because I believe what they're doing is they're evacuating the houses around the Congress Center first, and then he's going to land by helicopter. And during the evacuation, and so somebody is stuck up somewhere, and so Mr. Sardar. So please, but even then, I think we did a good session. Thank you, everybody. Now, please, lunch will be served almost immediately, and I request you to please, there are enough tables around, to see, please come. I can see the lunch is already arriving, and lunch. Thank you. Thank you. Not my language, but someone that has
समीर चिश्ती एग्जीक्यूटिव चेयरमैन एशिया पाक इन्वेस्टमेंट्स इस वक्त मौजूद थे। जो फोरम इस वक्त डेवोस में चल रहा है, इंस्पायरिंग पाकिस्तान के नाम से इस सेशन का आगाज़ हुआ। इन्वेस्टमेंट इन पाकिस्तान इसमें सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट सेशन था, जिसमें ये गुफ्तगू इस वक्त पूरे पैनल ने की है, जिसमें समीर चिश्ती ने प्राइवेटाइजेशन पर, प्राइवेट सेक्टर की अहमियत पर बड़ा जोर दिया। पाकिस्तान में इन्वेस्टमेंट क्लाइमेट के हवाले से उन्होंने वाज़े तौर पर बताया और पाकिस्तान के फ्यूचर को उन्होंने ब्राइट करार दिया। इसके अलावा फ़रीद आलम जो CEO हैं AKD सिक्योरिटीज़ के, उन्होंने भी वहाँ पर खुसूसी गुफ्तगू की।